Hi, this is Elitom Elamine, Breatharian, and Ayla. And right now we're here in Aswan, that's in southern Egypt, and we're on our way to the Isis temple. And down here going towards the Isis temple, we're actually crossing the Nile River by boat. Because the Isis temple is located out here on the water as we make it to this temple. You can see the different structures we're passing. Look at this, this is beautiful. This is the Nile River, and there's Isis temple right behind it. That's Isis temple? That's Isis? All right, so there go Isis temple. And this is one of the greatest things in the ancient world when you deal with Isis temple. And look how wonderful it is dealing with the female energy. And we'll tell you more about the story of Isis and how it relates on the energy that we're going to talk about today as we deal with the female energy. Because when you deal with the female and male energy and its connection, all religions is talking about it, and a lot of people equate it with also the fall of consciousness. But it ain't so much talking about the physical female, how people portray it. It's a subtle energy that we're dealing with, and once we recognize it, we can build this back together again so we can be whole human beings. Now here we go, as we get closer to Isis temple. You can see the hieroglyphs up there on the wall. And this is fabulous. This is thousands of years old, about 1,500 years. And we're on the Nile River in southern Egypt. Look at that wonderful, magnificent masterpiece. Look at that architecture, thousands of years. Humanity is just so awesome for how we do things. And again, when you look around on the Nile River, this is so much the different islands out here, the different mountains and the rock structures. But here you can see where Isis had her fort, located right here. And this is wonderful what we're about to see. And this is wonderful. Usually when we think of Isis, we think of Osiris. And right there, that is basically a story that's talking about love. True love conquers all things, and we'll talk more about that. All right. Now, can you hold this for a minute? You can talk a little bit.
It's on live.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody. The sentence of true love conquering all things is very, very powerful.
All right, wonderful.
We're now descending from the boat to the island. I better hold on very tight not to fall into the water. Okay, we made it. Here's Elitom, just near me.
All right. We're here. Hey, brothers. And we're down here in the Nubian kingdoms. Look at the Nubian brothers chilling. And we're heading up to Isis temple right now. As you can see, our island's having a great time. We're coming up closer to the temple. We had to catch the boat over. The people are real nice and user-friendly. Again. And this is wonderful. The energy here is great. You can feel it, especially dealing with the water there. Dealing with the sun, we got the 4 elements, we're breathing the air, and we got the good structure of the earth, bringing it all together.
And we got this little kitty.
Oh, look at the little kitty.
Showing something being born.
Right, birth always taking place.
Yes, this is a good symbol.
Now, we're going to whip through here and look at different structures, but we also going to set up. You can set up while I keep talking. once you find an area.
Right, right. We're rolling together until the right spot will call us.
Right. We're going to talk more about this teaching dealing with the Breatharian female energy. And here you see the structure with the hieroglyphs on it. This is the Isis temple inside. And look at this wonderful masterpiece. You see Isis all on there, dealing with the female energy. And you can see she's in a queen-type rulership role. This is wonderful. They usually don't show this because we're in a patriarchal society where the male energy been highlighted as always being in charge. But here at Isis Temple, you see a whole different story. Now you see the queen with the sun disk on her head and also with the horns coming up, showing that female energy coming to the surface. But again, just like all over Egypt, you see the different symbolism or the schematics, bringing this all over together. You can see the priest actually anointing someone. This is fabulous. And also dealing with the depictions, you still got the symbolism of the serpent, that serpent energy coming forward, coming up. But here, also in Isis Temple, we did research before we came here, you got a lot of unks taking place, which is basically life itself. And he's breathing in the ankh. It is also going near the medulla oblongata, because a lot of people, where your spinal cord touches the brain, they say that's where spirit meets the physical body. So even in your meditations, this is actually a high energy center right here where the spinal cord meets the spine. And keep in mind, you got 33 vertebrae on the spinal cord, so this is where they get the 33-degree Masons and where they get Jesus started his ministry at 33 years old. It's talking about the energies of the physical body again. And here you go again, they got the symbolism, the serpent coming through the third eye. But the only reason this energy or the serpent comes upward again is dealing with that sexual energy that's flowing upwards. And again, this is all telling a story. And this is Isis's temple. She had her own temple in the ancient world. And this is fabulous. And you can see all the walls is marked. They got the laws of Ma'at, because keep in mind, human beings, just like anything else, is under universal laws. We think we're not, and that's the violation of it, but we are. When you come in tunes with the laws of Ma'at, universal laws, your health is guaranteed to improve because we're the microcosm of the macrocosm. All right, let's go and see the rest of it. And look how big that wall is in this structure. And this is we're just scratching the surface.
Look at this huge tall serpent
Oh.
just here.
Now look at this. She made a point. The serpent is starting way down here, and they got it coming all the way up like a vine, all the way to the top there. And again, the pole, the symbolism represents the spinal cord, or all of us is familiar with the Bible. It got the tree with the serpent on it. This is what it's talking about. That female energy must come upwards unhindered. And this is what living on prana is about. People are not taking it seriously, but we're making this real, taking it from myth to reality. That female energy, due to the misuse of sex, that sexual energy, and also the misuse of eating food, because if you got all these blockages eating bad food, it's blocking the energy from coming upwards. You have to slowly allow this energy to start healing you and coming upwards, so you'll gain more and more energy, and pretty soon you'll be able to eat very little or none at all. So again, that serpent's going all the way to the top. You see the pillars over here? Look at this. This is fabulous. As it starts there, go all the way down, and look at this. It got inscriptions on each and every one of them. And they're even behind me also. This is a fabulous temple. You can see the courtyard. And again, you see some of the famous stories that they got from the Bible. Somebody dealing with pottery, where they dealt with the human being being built out of the earth, like a potter's vessel. Again, they're talking about the resurrection. All of this is here. Again, the laws of Ma'at on top of the head, the sun again, because we're all nourished by the solar energy. Very, very powerful. So when we deal with illumination, enlightenment, this is what it's dealing with. How do we know? Your health will improve and you will be a self-sustaining being. We're in a whole new age where the belief system, just to believe, see, when you believe, all you're doing is having faith in somebody else's testimony. But when you get on this path, you're building your own self-realization when you will know for yourself.
Actually, something that really, really hit me, seeing this huge serpent on that pillar of stone over there was a memory of the people in Israel in the desert where they were crying for food. They didn't want the heavenly food.
Right.
And then God told them, okay, you'll eat sparrows. And then they stuffed themselves with meat and sparrows, and then they had a plague and died. And what was their cure? God told Moses, make that serpent.
Make the serpent.
We saw it there, like in real life. And what I understood is that the serpent can heal and cure from the need and want and lust after food and meat and to stuff yourself.
Absolutely.
You just need to feel it here, meditate on the serpent power, and the urge to eat will go down and you will get filled with more divine and subtle energy.
Absolutely, because this is a great story. I'm glad you brought that up. See, when we look at religion, it's written in 7 different levels. Uh-oh, did I say that?
You did.
And what she's talking about, when I look at the scriptures, no matter if it's the major ones is what, the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran, I see the schematics or the resurrection taking place on being food free. I see it every time.
All around. It's part of the path.
The serpent.
Being more and more connected to your true self, taking things less. The less is the more.
So the serpent doesn't represent evil like that. All of us have the serpent energy within inside of us, but if it gets out of control, it could destroy you, or it could work in your favor and sustain you.
Exactly.
That's what we're dealing with now. And it just represents power. Again, the sun disk, you got the horns. Again, the horns do not represent evil. It just represents the 2 hemispheres of the brain being in alignment again. And when you are in alignment, through your diet, through your lifestyle, through your behavior, through your thought process, all of this is a given. The universe is user-friendly, and all of this is telling the story. Thousands of years old, this is fabulous. Look, they even built a window. This is Isis's temple. And you can see the view she must have seen thousands of years ago. The sun is right here. This is awesome. And again, look how it's built here. You got the pillars on the one side and the other. Then this long corridor going down the other way.
Here's Isis with her cow form, the horns on her head,
Right.
snake coming out
Isis
of her
again.
forehead, the ankh,
She's holding the ankh.
all the time.
She got the horns, like you said. Everything is in balance and harmony. She got the sun disk at the top of her head. And she got the staff. This is very, very powerful. And she got the female behind her. Now, there must be a story with this. She also got the serpent at the top of her head. So that's a good sign. Not only you get yourself together, the people around her is all doing the same thing. Because we all deal with each other's synergy. So the more you get yourself together and the people around you also, this is very powerful on how we change the consensus reality. Now, boy, there's so much to see in here. This is a really huge temple. Now look where we're going. Look at that corridor there. Oh my gosh.
We're circling it suddenly.
Right, now we're circling another side. And look at all those hieroglyphs on there again. Oh my gosh. And again, all of them got that sun energy on top of their head, that 8th chakra. We're not talking about the 7th chakra, we're talking about the 8th now. That external force that's from us. Now we're going through The roof here is made out of also stone. There's a room coming in this way. Oh my gosh, there's so much. And the energy here is fabulous again. This is actually, her temple is built on an island. On an island out here. There's the Nile River right there. See, we just thought the Nile was just a river with, it got all these little islands on it. And her temple, she actually chose this type of spot to build this on. You can see it, look how magnificent it is. One of the queens of Egypt. From myth to reality.
It definitely gives this feeling here.
Right, the female energy.
I'm feeling so royal.
Right. And you can feel it. It's real subtle, but it's powerful.
Arabic writing, maybe from a later period. Just
Right. Look how huge the doorways is. And this temple is very, very up. They did the. It's very had its upkeep. In other words. In other words, it's very sturdy. It passed the test of time. You can see all of that again. There's not a lot of rubble. They really took care of it. And here we go again at the other part. But even though we got the pillars there, look at the big wall again. That is huge. Look how I'm standing compared to it. Oh my gosh. And like I said, the ancients really took time out on this. And you remember I said in the last video, a civilization really didn't get destroyed, it expanded itself. And even today, when you look at most of our important buildings and churches and mosques, all of the temple, they still copying off of these pillars, our law system and everything else. So this is one of the most put together, recorded civilizations still on record that we can actually learn a lot off of. And like we said, even though there's been a lot of information on this, our knowledge has increased, so we're coming out with a whole lot more. And of course, I'm talking food freedom, and I'm telling you it's written on this wall. It's nothing new. Living on prana, longevity / immortality. From myth to reality. And again, look at, oh my gosh, this is a big island. Now look at this wall coming out in the back.
Wow.
Now I gotta show them this.
Wow.
Oh, this is incredible.
Wow.
There's so much, I'm like a kid in the store.
It's so huge.
Right. And then look at this. You got the maidens again, but they're more than just maidens or whatever. You can tell they're females due to how their bodies are. But again, they got the symbolism with the serpents, the horns, the sun disk coming from the heads. In other words, these females really had their stuff together esoterically. And there's no doubt in my mind that they had the knowledge of being self-sustaining. Then you see the males on this end doing the same thing, but then you got Isis in the middle again. With her horns, it got the sun disk. Oh, this is incredible. There's so much. Now look at this. You can't make this up. Look at this. Look how put together that is. Thousands of years ago.
Look at the faces on top of the pillars.
Right. This is incredible.
More and more endless stories.
We got engineers that have trouble building this today. But this gets me not only, oh my gosh. Now look around here. Here go Isis again. If I could get a good view here. Okay. Now wait a minute, I gotta get a good, how do I get that? It's just so much. All right, you see where the sun is up there. You see those, how they're carved into the wall. Isis and Osiris. And not only they're there, look how huge this is. And look at the carvings on the wall, the depiction. You got Tahuti dealing with wisdom. Because keep in mind, wisdom is applied knowledge. Applied correct knowledge. And it's all the way to the top. This is worth it. Look at this. And up there you got the hieroglyphs all on the walls telling the story. And keep in mind, this predated Greece, so you can see where a lot of Greece got their stuff. Dealing from law, dealing from religion, the concept. There's no doubt in my mind that back then there was a lot of people who came from Greece to get taught by some of the masters here in Egypt. And again, you see how they're carved in the wall. That is fabulous. And over there at the doorway, you got the sun with the two wings coming from it again. And that's dealing with our 8th chakra, dealing with that cosmic energy coming at the top of our head both day and night. The 2 hemispheres of our brain coming online, but everything got to come online. So again, we got to start changing our thought process and also the way we're living in our habits. This is actually a given as we deal with the 4 elements. This is wonderful. So now we're going up to the other direction. Oh, wait till you see this. This is like a highlight within itself. Hey there. Look at this. Now we're coming inside the temple. And again, you got the queen again. Isis there with the sun disk. Coming into her temple. Look how the wall is actually done up with the hieroglyphs. And look inside here. You see the top? Now, of course, that's man-made to put that over there to protect it. But you see the pillars inside? All on the walls. Look at the ancient writings. This is wonderful. You can't make this up. Again, you got this is where we get the internet from, www, that's the sound of the universe. You got the dealing with the hips. You loosen that up. Some say this is where we get a string theory from. All of this is taking place. Nothing new under the sun. This is all telling the story. Look as we go upwards. Oh, America. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. All right. Oh, yeah, we're in Nubia now.
Okay. Habib Allah. He's the chosen of God. Okay, great. Wait. Make together.
Picture time.
Picture time.
Yeah. This is wonderful.
Okay, Ellie, dance.
Yo, yeah, you like the
Ellie.
Oh, here we go.
Ellie.
Again, this is keeping universal laws. Oh, thank you so much. Wonderful. I'll hook you up here in a minute. Now here's the Ankh again. Now this is going to get good. This is the spinal cord, but you see how this is coming down right here. Let me put it up. That's actually on a lot of meditations. You got to put your tongue at the roof of your mouth. That's like a connection of the switch. So you got your spinal cord, but a lot of your deeper meditations, start putting the tongue at the roof of your mouth to make that energetic connection with the energy going in the front and also the back. So you can make that connection, because keep in mind that these bodies we got are like biocomputers or bio machines. You got to learn how to use it. And this is what we're dealing with again. So again, we're bringing this from myth to reality. And here we go again. All of this taking place. This look more like the Ark of the Covenant. You got the laws of Ma'at on the side. All the symbolism is actually built in this apparatus we living in, this machine, on how to use it. Again, this is the schematics. Look at it closely. And start studying this stuff and putting it to use. Here's Isis again. She got her famous pose with the wings. We got the sun disk holding the staff. That's what it's all about. See, as soon as you eat something or you overeat, you crave more. And that's just fossil fuels. You can actually be fueled off of something else. You could be fueled off of solar energy. That is the human being's foundation. Look at that. That is very powerful. This is given for us for this time now. You loving it, ain't you?
Yes, I'm standing here right near the figure of Jesus with the sun. It seems that she's balancing the sun on that as the eastern woman attacking on the red jugs of water.
Right.
That's it is.
Absolutely. Keeping everything in balance within your own being. Now here we go again. Look at this whole temple. Like again, we're inside. Look how huge this temple is. It don't end. Again, here's the queen again. You can see she's being served this time, it looked like. You got the man on this side, but he's handing her stuff and she's standing there in her queen position. Got the sun disk on her head with the horns again, the female energy. This is very powerful. It's a subtle force, but it's very powerful because by humanity being in the fall, we've been living on a survival level. And I'm going to tell you what this is about. Now you see the Ankh again. And you got the two things where I say you put the tongue out the roof of the mouth to connect the switch. That's what brings life. It's in your center, in your spinal cord. And here's another one. Very powerful. And we're going in. Now let's see what's happening. Oh man. Again, the writings on this wall is fabulous. Look at this. It's all over. They did not leave no room that has not been marked. We're looking at history. All over. And it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. There's the queen again.
Yalla! Venez avant les touristes.
And look at this room. Oh my gosh. You can't make this up. Look at that. Thousands of years preserved. Look at that. And the queen is all over the place. Now she got the serpent on her head again. See, sometimes when we talk about sexual cultivation, we think about the man and sperm and semen. But no, it's for females also. She protected how her energy is used sexually. Because like we said, that's the serpent. It can make you, break you, or it can protect you. So you can create good fruit, good offspring, and a good system and a good society with good people. Look at that. That is awesome. This is live in Isis's temple. Like we said, it's all over the room. This is just one room. We're coming into another one. And we ain't even scratched the surface yet. There's another room in there. It's covered with all of these writings. And this is another one. Telling the stories. And the queen's right here in the center. In one of her chambers. And she's on each wall. Over here, she's in another depiction. The female energy. You can tell she's in a position of authority. She has a male on this side, one on that side. And she's all over the place. And there's also locations where the male and female energy is connected like it should be. So this is very powerful.
So
now let's see the other side. And here's Isis and Osiris again. And the story with Osiris is, this is one of the greatest love stories because it shows that love conquers all things. Now the story dealing with this is, see, the old story they gave us, Osiris had a brother named Set. And they got into, it says Set was jealous of him. To make a long story short, he ended up, hey, all right, how about yourself? Wonderful. He ended up killing him, but that's the old story. Now Set is where the name Satan come from. But see, now since we increased in knowledge, we got to look at this differently now. Because evil don't exist, it's just imbalance and things being out of harmony. So therefore, how the story goes, Set ended up killing Osiris, but he was also married to Isis, and she ended up going to cry over him, mourn over him every day. And then it said that Set took his body and cut it up into 12 parts and spread it all over Egypt. Now look at that number 12. We got the 12 tribes of Israel in the scriptures. You also got 12 major systems of the physical body. We got to put all this together now. So they're spread all over the place. So she goes and collects them, but there's one part she couldn't find, and that was his penis. And that's why we had a symbol of the phallus all over the place, not just here all over Egypt. You got them all in Europe. You got them in Washington, D.C. in America. It's one of the greatest things dealing with the sexual energy, but that's a whole nother piece. We're just collecting this now. But dealing with this love story, Isis went all the way out to impregnate herself with Horus. You find a good spot? With Horus.
I'm fine with this spot.
Oh, look at that spot over there.
Where?
Oh my gosh. Well, this is good.
Actually, I feel very nice here near the
So she
water.
impregnated herself with Horus. Now, listen to all these names. Osiris, that's the iris of the eye. That's dealing with your third eye. Horus deals with the horizon. And look at your two eyebrows, how they go. It's like the setting of the sun coming at the horizon. Then we deal with the name Set. That's when the sun sets. So Set is not Satan being evil. Keep in mind that the light comes out of darkness. See, even when we got our lunar energy at night, it's not a separate energy. When you look at the different phases of the sun, it is the moon, it is just telling you where the location of the sun is located. So you see what I'm saying? They all go together. So your pineal gland in the daytime when the sun is out, it gives off serotonin and puts it into your blood. And at night, just by its nature, by you being hooked up to the matrix of nature and universal laws, that same gland, your third eye, gives off melatonin. So Set isn't in operation. Yes, we have a polarity, but this polarity must be harmonized. I usually tell people to stop eating at night and stuff like this to better your health, because just by your body giving off that chemical, now listen at that word chemical, that's where the word chem come from, because ancient Egypt used to be called Kemet. So anyway, as we go through all of this, there's no more good and evil. What we're learning now is we're getting more educated on how to use these vessels so you can have a better harmonized life, and then we can create a better harmonized system. So when we put this together, and the body is already in tune with universal laws, it always tells the truth. So when you see these pharaohs with the laws of Ma'at, even if you don't know what the law is, your body is keeping the law because it's faithful to the matrix. The only reason a human being dies is because the body fails to keep its homeostasis, which is an energetic balancing act, and when it cannot hold it no more, that's when it starts bringing on illness, sickness, and disease. And keep in mind, if you're sick right now, that's a good indication because it didn't kill you right away. It's talking to you to say, let's do something. Let's turn this around. let's stop certain habits. And when you do that, the body is basically self-sufficient. It will heal itself on its own, but you really got to give it that time. So that's why they say love conquers all things, because love is an action word. Keep that in mind. It don't matter what you say out of your mouth or just the way you feel. When you get into the action to activate these laws that's in the universe, that what you already connected to, and start putting them to use, this will become your own reality, your own realization. Now listen at this. There's something real good here. Now, Ayla, what you got here? You got something real interesting.
First of all, if we're talking about Isis, she's symboled by several animals in nature. One of them is, she's being called the Holy Cobra Lady. And Ali, you talked so much about this and beautiful things that there's really not a lot more to say, just that in her aspect of the Holy Cobra Lady, she represents the snake energy that is coiled around the tailbone. The movement of Shakti in Hinduism, it's a movement that all of the time rises like flickers of flame. It rises in order to lift you up, in order to burn unwanted qualities, unwanted thoughts, sickness. The venom of the sting of a snake is something very painful, and that pain is associated to fire and to burning quality. Now, when this energy rises and meets the forehead, so it represents the eye of Re, that is the divine solar power being manifested through the eyes of God. And Egyptian goddesses were represented by snakes on the foreheads of the gods. They were snakes themselves. Also, she was represented by cows, cow horns, and sparrows and scorpions. And I'm listening to the singing of the sparrows near the water of the Nile. It's so calming, bringing in a soft, feminine energy. Now, this is
Let's make sure
square.
we can see it.
Can you see here is a square with 4 points, and in the middle is the disc. I would say, let's say Isis is here in the center.
Right.
And these, in my eyes, are the connection to the 4 males in her life. One of them is Re, the sun god. The other is Set. The other is her husband Osiris, and this is her son Horus. Now, we were talking about eternal love. Actually, everything that Isis did was to represent her mother energy. She was a mother, a goddess of fertility, protector of mother and children and of the gods and the goddesses. And everything she did in these stories was for her son, Horus, a fierce love of a mother, in order to make him a god and not to let the evil that Set represents in the story to affect him. And she also stole, in a very special way, the power of Re, the sun god, in order to bestow this power for her son Horus. And she resurrected her husband Osiris in order to be pregnant with her son. So everything she did was out of her fierce
Out of this love
of a mother, in order to sustain the world, in order to heal, and in order to do something for the good and benefit of all. Because I don't want to see it as a selfish motive, because she's a goddess, so all of these moves was done for the benefit of Egypt and of all of the world. Now, another interesting
Awesome.
aspect is, if we look at the mother, we can always see in any of the aspects of the goddess of Isis 2 aspects. One is positive quality, and the other is the shade quality.
Ah, got you.
So we can look at the positive quality of a mother, nurturing the Nile, that is nurturing all the fields, the green crops,
Right.
Raising her son, educating to his important, preparing him for his important role, and that was something very difficult at the time for women to do, because there were a mother to do a thing like this needs a lot of power to sustain herself
Right.
and not to be trampled on. So she would not lose in any way, and she used her power in a worthy way. Now the shadow aspect can be if a feminine uses her power, the female, to seduce,
negatively,
to steal power for her own gains, to sell herself in order to receive power, and also as a mother to smother her children or to be manipulating. So we want to see the pure feminine aspect, connection to the light, to nurturing,
right.
to unconditional love, that the mother really has this quality, the real basic pure feminine quality.
Absolutely.
Another aspect is, I will draw it even here right now, is she was a goddess of the Lady of Death. When we see her with the wings, can you see the wings here? In a way, wings. So she was the goddess that had the form of the eagle, the vulture, to take the dead to the realms of the world of the dead, the other worlds. And in this way, she was forcing, as she stole res power, as she could kill, she was forcing to leave what is unnecessary, just like a snake sheds his skin, casts the dead qualities in order to regenerate, in order to be reborn again with power. And in order to achieve this quality, one must surrender everything. Surrender his name, surrender his personality to divine, to feel these wings engulfing him and empowering him, to feel the ankh, the breath of life, the kiss of the divine that sustains life.
Right. This is awesome. This is very powerful.
I would also like to address her abilities as being a magician, a healer, a magician using magical qualities. All of the qualities of nature, if one uses the qualities of nature, the water, the herbs, the knowledge, taking two substances and putting them together in order to produce a wanted effect, that is magic, because you want to produce something positive for the world, something to make a change, something to empower, something to bring new growth, new understandings. And sorcery is to use powers of nature and magical spells. She knew the spells, she knows the power of using magic with names to gain selfish power, to curse, to do negative influence. So we want to connect to the magical, positive qualities.
The positive qualities.
That just happens by itself. You just sit here and you connect and you breathe, and magic happens by itself because you're worthy of it, and you're not begging, you're not demanding, you're not manipulating.
It's like a given.
Comes to you. It's given.
An allowing.
Allowing, like the sparrows have their food from the trees. They're not worried. They're singing and they're happy and they're light. And maybe we'll also talk.
Now that's good right there.
This with the four directions. Now inside, I made a photo of it, but I don't think I can show you it here. There's this cross engulfed in the stone drawings of the four directions, the four elements that Isis holds the magic to use each of these four directions. Starting from the earth element that can represent this earth that we are. She's the lady of the earth. She brings fertility. She brings birth. That's the power of the earth, the feminine, the womb.
Right.
And also our bones are the earth element. We're walking on the earth. And in order to connect to elements, we must take physical acts, even very simple, just as walking barefoot every day for 10 minutes on the beach, or
a holistic lifestyle.
to activate the body and to connect to this earth energy that sustains and nourishes us naturally. And then we have the water element that again is fertility, the Nile. We're just sitting here seeing the Nile flow so gently, with ease, with grace, and it's the fluids in our body, the fluids that bring life.
Right.
And how to ensure that the fluids are balanced, not too much fluid, not dried up. That's also the pineal gland produces fluids when we work more with energy.
So in other words, all these
nourishes
elements
the body.
have to be harmonized and come
Of
together
course,
into the
of
center.
course. And we have the fire element that represents the fire of change, of alchemistry, of burning what is dead and unneeded. And this fire is the processes in our body, the heat, the temperature of our body.
Right.
All of the processes need an inner heat to burn and make the body move.
Right.
Movement, the muscle functioning. And here we have the air element.
Now she's explaining basically living on prana. Just pay attention to this.
Exactly.
It's
Now,
been told to us, she's just reminding you.
living on prana is actually sustaining ourselves through breathing processes, to breathing clean air, bringing it inside, and all of the nourishing elements that we have in the air. So it's very important to connect with the breathing process. And
Right.
also the air represents mental abilities as concentration, as thoughts that are clear like the sky. Also, you can just meditate and look at the blue of the sky for several minutes a day and cleanse the mind, detox the mind.
Right.
And cognitive thinking skills, all of these are connected together in the center, and they happen when we focus and connect to these forces in nature that the goddess Isis represents.
Right.
To living a healthy lifestyle, as Ellie Tom
Absolutely.
teaches.
And it has power. That's holistic technology. We haven't been looking at it like that. So that's excellent. The four elements coming together. She made sense of it. You got the fluids in your body. That's the water element. You got the air that we breathe. That's the air element. You got the fire element that everybody at their hips is warm down there. That's what we call the sexual energy, that serpent. And that must rise upwards in order to burn the stuff that's not needed, that we don't need anymore.
And to bring life, the sexual energy brings life in many
Bring
forms.
life to it. Because that right there, that's why I say meditation is the foundation, because as soon as you relax the body, that energy start rising upwards, because heat love to rise upwards. That's the serpent coming up the pole. And then
Right.
last but not least is the earth, which is our physical bodies. Now the way you know that you're living on prana, and the way you know that you're connected with the elements, because the earth, the cultivation, will look good. Just like you cultivated a good garden. You pulled up the weeds. You got everything cultivated and doing good, and you can
Right.
bring up a good harvest in your thought process, how your life is going. This is how we know. It can be measured. You understand?
And it happens naturally when we're in
Naturally.
the right conditions. Just look at this Nile and all of the greenery.
And the
right
external is showing us this.
Make it happen.
You got the external sun and we got the internal sun. You got the water, we got the internal water. You got the earth, we got the earth that we're dealing with. We're the microcosm of the macrocosm. So again, living on prana is not hard. We use that word prana, breatharian, solaritarian. No matter what word you use, basically what it boils down to, this is the universe is user friendly. And when you take this seriously through an awareness to really start living your lifestyle right, health is guaranteed. Did I say that?
You said it. I think also that it's very important to address a little bit in one or two sentences the feminine feelings, because we need our emotions as females, as also as men with the female quality inside. We need to balance our emotions, to combine them with our physical body, with our mental processes. And
Right.
this will bring the spiritual growth and create also a new you. So feelings just as forgiveness, as unconditioning love,
Right.
as feelings that are nurturing, self-love, love for others, love for
Right.
all that are around us, for our children and
Right.
for humanity.
And I'm
It
glad how
brings
you said
something
that.
else, like for
It's an action word.
exactly, it's an action, and then it puts us into action from another place of pure feelings, of good intention.
Right. And see, just what you're saying, dealing with that aspect of love, that action word, you said that feminine energy, but men is just as emotional as women. They just act it out a lot of times differently. Same quality. Because
Exactly.
sometimes we're getting into this diversity, and a female will say to me, "You just don't know how I feel, and it's an emotional thing." Well, I come out of a female. I didn't come out of nothing different. How you think I got here? So I got the Isis quality in me. You understand?
So you must understand.
So
it.
you understand
Open
it.
yourself to it.
So therefore, when we balance out these energies within us, this is the sustaining power of living on prana, being food free. That is a byproduct of the harmonization of the four elements, because we had the four elements within us. Now let's look at the fifth element, which they call the ether, or called the plasma. Now that's a word dealing with the etheric body. That's what a word with it in ancient times, even though right now we're here in Egypt at the Isis temple. Ethiopia is not far away, and that used to be called the, that's where they get the word it just wasn't the country you see now. It was actually the whole continent once upon a time. That's other hidden knowledge. And that's where it called Ethiopia was the spiritual utopia. Uh-oh, did I say that? So therefore, when you connect with the higher subtle frequencies and you prepare this vessel and balance out these energies, see, we always talk about ascending. That sounds good, to ascend. But the descend is what you want. You want the higher subtle vibrations to descend within this vessel.
That's what she did. She took all of the energies from all of the three men that we said,
Right.
descended them
To
into
descend
her
it.
body to produce new life.
Right, to
new
bring in the energy.
understandings, new energy.
Because when you don't allow this energy to descend in you, this is why everybody's suffering or going to external things for fulfillment. Because you
Right.
have not prepared the vessel for the descension. You can't handle the energy. So that's why people just concentrate on, I stopped eating, I just stopped being food free. But the vessel is not prepared to handle that influx of higher energy vibration. So you have to go through a system of meditation, a system of working on yourself, a process to prepare the vessel for the descension of the higher frequency vibration to come inside the vessel.
Exactly. The body needs to be strong to do some simple yoga postures, to walk in
Absolutely.
nature,
Breath.
to meditate, to love, to pray.
And the thing about it, when you deal with spiritual practices, it's things that we're already doing. Let's take pranayama, breath work. Somebody actually got to teach you how to breathe, and you're already breathing anyway. Now that's a shame. Somebody got to teach you how to stretch. You already stretch. A cat does that. Right. So that shows how far we've fallen. This is a given. Start being aware of your moment, your movement, your position, your thoughts.
Your breathing.
And like you said earlier about the manipulative thought of the feminine energy from the unified thought. See, you really don't have to beg or ask for anything. These things that are essential for life is a given. You don't need to manipulate nobody, and you don't need to sell your soul to the devil. That means basically, how should we say? Listen at that word soul, come from solar. You got your solar plexus. You're giving up your energies thinking you need to do something just to live. Live, you was given the gift of life. This is what it's about, becoming aware of it. See, as I say here, I don't need no money in my pocket to live. It don't cost nothing to breathe like I'm doing right now.
Right.
I'm already rich.
Eating from the air and also the water and
Right.
the plants, they sustain.
Now the
they
other
send
stuff is just
nurturing
extras.
elements.
But when you damage yourself for those extras, that's when you sold your soul for the devil. And how do you know you sold your soul? Because you start feeling what? Stiff, aches and pains. You blame it on age. You blame it on the doctor. You blame it on other people.
Negative the
food you're eating, negative
anger.
emotions. You got to stop all of that and get back to the basics. It always been the basics in order to build a house. Oh, this is good, ain't it? Now listen at this. We're at Isis's temple. The Nile River is right behind us. And look at this beautiful temple. The feminine energy. Now we ain't even done yet. We ain't even done seeing this place.
Okay, let's just show them this.
This is the Isis pose.
Yoga posture that we just discovered. This probably helped her maintain her health. Become,
She's all on the wall doing that.
Young, become immortal in a way.
Right.
Feel alive.
Right. The stretch, the movement, all because we were designed to move. So in other words, don't be a couch potato no more. Get to work in these energies, cultivating the earth, which is your physical body. Get the living waters, which is our fluids in our bodies, to run smoothly. Because look in the West, for instance, high blood pressure is big all across the board. There's no excuses for that. See, once we understand this, that your body is automatically hooked up to this matrix, and when you got cleaner blood flow, smooth blood flow, it automatically brings more light to the body. Now, I'll be right down at this temple. She'll catch up with us in a minute. Look at this other part of Isis's temple. Now this probably was a sacred part. This is looking out over the Nile, where her and the priest probably came and did some rituals. And look at this part. And this might be the place where we do our meditation at, actually. Of course, I'm out here. I got to take full advantage of it. And look at this again. It never ends. And I got to give it credit. I've been to a lot of temples here in Egypt, and Isis really got it going on here. Now, don't take this as a male chauvinist statement, but I guess that's a female for you. She really got her house together, you know? Look at those pillars there. This is awesome. And look at the spot she picked. There's the Nile River, and there's other islands out there. This is a real special temple that we're at. And it's showing a whole lot of the feminine quality again that really needs to resurrect in society to bring it back into harmony. And we are on that now because you see a lot more females are waking up, and I mean the physical female, on changing the role that it was in the past and understanding more about they don't have to do what the mothers or the grandmothers did. They could go a whole different route. Of course, we're in our infancy stages. There's a whole lot to learn and to do. But this also gives the man a chance also to change his role that was given to him in the past. So again, this feminine energy is waking up both in the male and the female as we speak today. And this is what the pranic movement is talking about. We're changing the way we're doing things in society. And look at these hieroglyphs all over this again. And this is a wonderful temple. And there's so much. There's even another part over there. Look at this. That's like the fortress that we walked through. There's a whole nother part over there. So Isis had it going on as you look at this temple. So many wonderful places out here. Oh my gosh, look at this. So again, as you go on your pranic journey, if you can't master one day, don't try to do more days. I be telling people, matter of fact, we caught a cab today, and some man seen my face around, and he started asking me questions. He asked me, was I a doctor? And I said, well, not today, I'm a teacher, you know, because I change every day. But he started asking me, how do we get rid of his stomach? And I said, well, start fasting once a week, you know, and he's thinking he need to do more days. No, he don't. It's not about that. Master one day before you take on more. You'd be surprised when you start putting this ritualistic day into your life, because this is what it's dealing with again. When you look at the temple and the aspect of it, our physical bodies is a temple. So just like how you go to a church every Sunday, you go to a mosque every Friday, you got the Jews who have their Sabbath and everything else like this, they have given days on when they do something to build up that energy for what they're trying to accomplish. You understand? So the same way with us, as we change our lifestyle, deal with these energies on a subtle level and just take small increments on which days you're going to do something. You understand?
Right, exactly.
You know, I mean, so many people, I'm going to do 7 days, 21 days. Don't do that to yourself. The only thing you're going to do is beat up on yourself, and then all you're going to do is stuff yourself again after you put your body through all that stress. That's not what it's about. The body knows what to do. All you got to do is take care of the first 3 chakras. The 4th chakra on up, take care of themselves. They're the ones hooked up to the cosmos. See, you're already hooked up with the bigger universe, the bigger picture. But in order to start living this magic, and it has been magical since we've been rolling, haven't it?
Of course, every
As soon as we think something, it comes about. Right, but you have to get used to your new abilities. This isn't really no powers, it just seems powerful for us right now due to the fallen state. But this is a given on what should happen to you as just being a human being.
Exactly, and also there's like a kind of transformation in me when I see these drawings on the wall of holding the sun disk on the head.
Right.
So if we walk and we feel ourselves as extensions of the sun, actually, sunbeams, we're walking with light on our head. It's a very powerful visualization to do, and then it transforms you, it changes you, because you walk like a king or like a queen and you spread your wings.
And I like how you said that, how you start out with the visualization. Now in the beginning stages, when you start meditating and stuff, it does take work. You got to set up a time. You should, when you do it, you should really work with your schedule. You should visualize. You should do all this other stuff. But over a period of time, you don't have to do all of that because you retrained the body on what you expect it to do. I'm not visualizing right now. I just already know it's there. I know I'm here. It's automatically connected. It's a given. So when you retrain the body and the mind into its new habit, because we're creatures of habits, it will automatically do it on its own every day. And this is what it's all about. Now listen at this. Let's sit over here, matter of fact. This is a good temple behind us. All right, now listen at this. Let's take veganism. Veganism is now on the scene. More and more people is coming into it. And even McDonald's now is selling a vegan burger.
Good times. Huh?
Good times. Now listen at this now. What is veganism all about? Is it really just leaving animals alone? Actually, it's standing up for the feminine. Listen at this now. Why is that? Because the female animals, they're getting their babies stolen. They're being raped.
Right.
They're being beaten. When you take that stand to become vegan or leave meat alone, you are standing up for the female energy. Now you might say, well, it happens to males too. You remember you said that. But the only reason is because he has to be birthed through the female. See, when you capture the female and put her in bondage, she's the one, you got the next generation. So this cycle keep going on and on. So we must free up this female energy so that the generations can learn. See, when a man has knowledge, he just teaches another man or a group. But when a female has knowledge, she gives it to the next generation.
She produces the generations.
She produces the generations. So this is why this is so powerful. So these other animals getting their babies taken, not able to see them, not able to get in no pecking order, and living these lives of bondage, when you take on that energy by devouring these motherless children and these animals like that, that energy is coming off your body if you realize it or not, and you can find yourself still putting out a frequency that can be out of harmony, not like you want it to be.
Right.
So we really got to start dealing with these subtle energies and taking it more seriously and understand how wide the scope is.
Yeah, we must understand that so many influence in every given second are all around us, and to be able to become more and more sensitive and discriminate what influence we want to come out in, what we want to take out, and to really observe it.
Oh, absolutely.
Through our food, through the society, company that we have, through
Absolutely.
media, what we absorb. It's very important in our education, to our children, to our families, to our friends.
And it goes on and on and on. But
Right.
these actions what we're taking. So we are doing good as humanity. We are in the golden age. This information is out here more and more. More people is talking about this. There's more pranic teachers all across the board. More people coming into it. And you don't have to get stuck on focused on the teacher. Just focus on the knowledge. That's what it always should be about. You understand? And get into your own self-realization and grow. This won't be the last time you hear it. It'll keep moving on because we are in the golden age. This is a great age we're in. So we hope you got a lot out of this. I did a real good job.
It was amazing to do it together. Thank you for being here with us and listening.
And here we are in Aswan again. If you ever come down here, it's down near Nubia, going towards the Sudan border. There's temples all across. Like we said earlier, when people think of Egypt, they just think of the pyramids being up in Egypt, but there's other countries that there's up to 70 pyramids, if not more, that haven't been even discovered yet.
Much more sites to be explored.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
Like heaven and earth here. It's feeling to be in a desert oasis and really so calming, so purifying, and so full of love.
So this
out of every corner.
Right. So this information must have been all over the ancient world. So as we resurrect this, keep in mind, it's not just the ancient world no more. We are the ancient people. We are the ancient world. So all we're doing is resurrecting what's already inside of us. Whoa, that's powerful, ain't it? Did I say that? All right. Talk to y'all soon, and we hope you enjoyed this.
Enjoy your day.
We got some more of the temple to see. There's so much, and I'll be on here for 5 hours if we keep going through here. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.